Imagine this. You hide $100 in a drawer. No risk, no stock market drama, no crypto crashes, no shady cousins asking to borrow it real quick. Just a crisp, innocent $100 bill resting quietly in the dark. You return 10 years later, open the drawer, and something strange has happened. The bill is still there. It still says $100, but suddenly it only buys $73 worth of stuff. No one stole it, no one touched it. So what happened? Tonight we're going to uncover one of the quietest, most powerful forces in the global economy: inflation. The invisible tax, the silent thief, the economic gravity slowly pulling down the value of your savings. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why money loses value, why governments allow inflation, why your grandparents could buy a house for peanuts, and why simply saving money may secretly be making you poorer. Let's go down the rabbit hole. The ancient secret of money. To understand inflation, we must travel back thousands of years, before dollars, before banks, before economists with confusing charts. Picture a bustling market in ancient Mesopotamia around 3000 BC. A farmer wants bread. The baker wants wheat. The blacksmith wants goats. This was called barter, and it was a logistical nightmare. Imagine trying to buy a chicken with a half-used lawnmower and 2 socks. So humanity invented something magical: money. But not paper money. Money was originally scarce physical things like gold, silver, copper, salt. Yes, Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt. These worked because they had 3 properties: scarcity, you couldn't just create more; durability, they didn't rot; trust, everyone agreed they had value. For thousands of years, this system kept money relatively stable. Then, governments discovered something dangerous, something irresistible: printing money. The birth of the printing press problem. Paper money first appeared in China during the Song dynasty around the 11th century. At first, it was brilliant. Instead of hauling bags of metal coins across mountains, merchants carried paper notes backed by gold stored somewhere safe. Convenient, efficient, elegant. Until rulers realized something. They controlled the printing press, and printing paper money is a lot easier than mining gold. Imagine a kingdom in debt from war. Instead of raising taxes, which makes people angry, the government quietly prints more money. Problem solved. Except when more money exists, each unit becomes less valuable. Think of money like pizza. If there are 8 slices and 8 people, everyone gets 1 slice. But if suddenly there are 16 people and still 8 slices, each slice becomes smaller. Inflation works the same way. The Weimar nightmare. Let's fast forward to one of the most extreme inflation disasters in history: Germany, 1923. After World War I, the German government owed enormous debts. Instead of raising taxes or cutting spending, they printed money, and printed more, and then printed absurd amounts more. The result? Hyperinflation. Prices doubled every few days. Workers were paid twice per day so they could rush to buy food before prices rose again. Children built toys out of stacks of money because cash was cheaper than wood. At one point, a loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. Wheelbarrows of cash just to buy groceries. Savings were wiped out. Entire lifetimes of wealth evaporated. And while most modern economies avoid hyperinflation, the same mechanism still exists, just slower. How inflation actually works. Economists often describe inflation using something called the quantity theory of money. MV equals PQ. Don't worry, we're not turning this into math class. Think of it like this. Money flowing through an economy buys goods and services. If the amount of money increases faster than the amount of stuff produced, prices rise. Three major forces cause inflation. 1. Money supply expansion. Central banks create new money. In the United States, that institution is the Federal Reserve. They do this through mechanisms like bond purchases, bank lending, and quantitative easing. More money enters circulation. Prices gradually climb. 2. Demand-pull inflation. Too many buyers, not enough goods. Classic example, the housing boom. Everyone wants a house, supply is limited, prices skyrocket. 3. Cost-push inflation. When production costs rise, like oil becomes expensive, supply chains break, labor wages increase. Businesses raise prices to survive. Consumers pay more. The secret reason governments like inflation. Here's where things get interesting. Governments do not try to eliminate inflation. They actually target it. In the U.S., the Federal Reserve aims for about 2% inflation per year. Why? Because mild inflation does three things governments like. 1. Encourages spending. If money loses value over time, people spend and invest instead of hoarding cash. That stimulates economic growth. 2. Reduces debt burdens. Inflation quietly shrinks the real value of debt. If you borrowed $100,000 10 years ago, inflation makes those dollars easier to repay. Governments love this because governments carry enormous debt. 3. Prevents economic stagnation. A little inflation keeps money circulating. Too little inflation can cause deflation, which can freeze economies. The real cost to savers. Now we return to that $100 bill in your drawer. At 3% inflation per year, money loses roughly half its purchasing power in about 24 years. Your savings might look stable, but silently and invisibly, they are shrinking. Inflation doesn't announce itself like a thief breaking through the window. It sneaks in through grocery prices, rent increases, tuition, healthcare costs. Your numbers on your bank account stay the same, but what they buy keeps shrinking. The lesson history teaches. Every civilization eventually learns the same lesson about money. From Roman coin debasement to Weimar hyperinflation to modern central banking, money is not just paper, it's a system of trust. And inflation is the quiet signal that the supply of that trust is expanding. So the next time someone says, just save your money, remember the hidden rule of modern economics. Cash preserves numbers, but assets preserve purchasing power. And that is the strange story of how your money can sit perfectly still while slowly disappearing. If this video changed how you think about money, comment value below. And subscribe, because in the next video, we're diving into how banks create money out of thin air. And once you understand that system, you'll never look at a bank the same way again.